Why, hello everyone, welcome back to our series where we check out some of the best looking new games releasing this month, this time for June 2025. Here we go. All right, kicking things off, if you haven't yet seen any of the 1,000 or so videos that I've made thus far about this game, I will just say it again. I'm pretty excited for Dune Awakening. Yeah, it's not a perfect game. In fact, I think there are people who will think it's outright bad, but I've just enjoyed it. Or as I said elsewhere, it checks nearly all of the right boxes, or at least enough of them for my personal interest in what I like in games. Aside from wishing combat was a bit more impactful, concerns about performance and bugs, and the fact that the endgame is likely to devolve into a Zergfest, fact of the matter is, I have played a lot and I have had a blast, sinking thus far well over 100 hours pre-release, and I expect I will at least double that once it's officially launching. But assuming you have not heard me gush about this game before, here is a brief overview. So Dune Awakening is an open world survival crafting game with some MMO light elements where you're gonna see other people running around. In fact, come end game, the play space you're in shares well over 1,000 people simultaneously with like stitching servers together or something. And then the world and setting itself pulls directly from the Dune IP with some clearly heavy inspiration from the recent films. But other than that, you are playing a survival crafting game and you're going through that loop. So you start with basically nothing and then begin gathering resources to make a basic set of armor, weapons, and tools. You use those tools to gather better resources in harder zones to make stronger gear, climbing that ladder up and up, moving through the world, going through its zones, doing harder content, all the way up until endgame. And then there is, of course, base building, as many survival crafting games have. It is here. In fact, you can build just about anywhere in the world that's not an existing point of interest, although if you do build in the middle of the dunes, watch out for the sandworm. And the explorable space that you're spending time in consists of two massive open regions, Haga Basin and the Deep Desert. Haga Basin is said to be larger than the entirety of their prior game, Conan Exiles. It's got 12 different zones in total and contains roughly 100 hours of content. Beyond doing the survival crafting stuff, there's a main story quest to follow. You got side quests you can pick up from NPCs and contract boards, and there's a bunch of different points of interest to check out, with enemy strongholds, including large bases, mining facilities, compounds, and ruins. You've also got tiny camps scattered all around the zones, as well as caves that have unique resources inside. And all of these locations have enemies to fight. You go in, you clear them out, you collect loot and resources. There are also desert testing stations. These areas are predominantly underground and come with a variety of biome types. It's actually, they quite diversify from the landscape up above because they've got science stuff and water happening down here. They're also said to be reminiscent of Fallout shelters or Skyrim dungeons. They're like larger, elaborate spaces. You're moving through a lot of rooms and corridors, clearing out enemies, uncovering bits of lore via audio logs, and many of these also have some sort of a boss or difficult PvE encounter at the end. There's player hubs with towns with vendors, quest NPCs, other players, as well as a marketplace you can buy and sell items. And the play space has a whole bunch of different events that can take place, like crash ships that you literally see falling from the sky. If you go to their crash location, you can scavenge valuable resources. You've got these police forces that scan the surface of the planet at night. If they spot you, they lock you in place and call down reinforcements. You get the weather system with these massive sandstorms rolling through periodically, forcing you indoors. Otherwise, if you stay outside, you'll take damage until you eventually die. And there is the ever-present threat of the sandworm, where if you cause too much vibrations on the sands, it will draw the worm's attention. As it erupts, it then goes down and chases you, eventually catching up to you if you don't get off of the sand onto rocky formations. If it catches you, you die and lose everything because a massive sandworm just swallowed you whole. And then there's the end game, which begins once you build your first ornithopter. This allows you to leave Haga Basin and then head to the Deep Desert. This region is massive, much larger than the prior, and made up mostly of sand dunes where you harvest spice, but there's also rock islands dotted all throughout that contain many of the aforementioned points of interest, things to do and see. So massive guilds of players are going to be headed out to the Deep Desert in search of spice, which is the main resource and currency for endgame crafting and character progression. Now, as we mentioned, this is a big space. It's about 10x larger than the starting zone, supporting well over 1,000 players, and it is 100% 24/7 full PvP all the time, with the exception being a small area when you first zone in to the Deep Desert. But 95% of the Deep Desert play space is all open PvP, and this is where the large scale and small scale PvP conflicts will happen, where you've got loads of players engaged in ranged and melee combat with ground and air vehicles, artillery, mounted weapons, all all sorts of stuff, just large scale chaos. Yeah, this is easily one of my most anticipated games of this year. I've already made some great memories while playing, and I'm looking forward to making quite a few more. I'm sure I will have gripes. I do already have gripes and complaints, which we will likely address in a follow-up video in the coming week or two here. But despite those complaints, I really like this game. Dune Awakening will be officially launching on June 10th for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. They are also unfortunately doing the all too common, you can pay us more money to play the game earlier. If you go that route, that begins on June the 5th. But yeah, otherwise, and despite some gameplay complaints, I like this game. Looking forward to playing more. Before we continue with this month's list, we get a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Zenless Zone Zero, the post-apocalyptic action combat game where you embark on an adventure through New Eridu, building a roster of characters whom you use to take on supernatural enemies following the near world-ending disaster known as the Hollows. Currently, they are celebrating the launch of version 2.0 of the game, and with this come a bunch of updates and goodies. There's the new map, Wi-Fi Peninsula. This features a landscape quite different from that of the major central city districts. You'll find markets selling unique goods, tea houses, dessert shops, and can even take part in fortune-telling activities. There is a whole new chapter to experience. Sent to Yun Ku Summit, the protagonist will encounter a cast of uniquely charismatic and interesting-looking characters, and we got new events and systems. You can try your hand at managing a Taoist temple, enjoy cinema screenings, invitation events, and can take part in the brand new Bangaboo activities. And beyond all of that, there's also a bunch of free rewards for all players. Starting on June the 6th, you can log in and participate in the version 2.0 celebration in order to claim an S-rank agent of your choice, 1600 polychrome, anniversary exclusive avatar, 30 limited channel pulls, and a whole lot more. There are special additional bonuses for brand new players, including 180 free pulls, and if you pre-register, there are additional rewards for that as well. So to learn more about the game or any of these available rewards and bonuses, be sure to use my link in the video description below. All right, continuing the list. Next up, we've got a game that looks rather interesting. It is called The Alters, and according to its developer, this is an ambitious sci-fi survival game with a unique twist. You play as Jan Dolsky, a lone survivor of a crash-landed expedition on a hostile planet. In order to survive, you must form a new crew from your mobile base. Now, this kind of looks like a blending of something like Fallout Shelter with also having third-person exploration and action. I don't know, something about this seems really neat. You'll be navigating both survival and moral dilemmas with a branching narrative filled with captivating character dynamics and difficult decisions. Being a survival game, it also involves the loop of exploration, crafting items, and building a base. So for exploration, you've got a hostile planet with unique biomes and secrets to be found. Deadly anomalies also stand in your way. There's levitating rocks, eerie distortions of reality, and singularities that are invisible to the naked eye and require a special tool to uncover. Crafting items and building a base, resources can be used in many different ways. You'll create necessary items or expand your base with additional modules like a research lab or a social room. And sometimes you're going to have to choose between creating items for your altars or making things that push the mission forward. And then there are the altars themselves, and this is probably one of the most interesting systems in this game, where you use this quantum computer at your base to simulate alternate outcomes of past choices. The result of this are these altars that are brought to life and inhabit your base that have their own unique skills and personalities. The game is said to have a branching storyline rich with moral dilemmas. Your choices will shape Jan's relations to the altars, which then impact their journey and yours, leading to multiple outcomes and endings. Certainly a unique looking game, and visually I quite like it. It's rather appealing. The Alters will be launching on June 13th for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. FBC Firebreak is an upcoming co-op mission-based first-person shooter developed and published by Remedy Entertainment. The game is set sometime after the events of Control and follows a special unit of soldiers named Firebreak. So basically, this is a 3-player co-op PvE game where you and your friends play as a team trapped in the oldest house and tasked with defeating its enemies, attempting to prevent them from escaping. It is very much so in the vein of something like Left 4 Dead, where you enter these levels, are given a list of objectives and tasks, and you try to complete them while fighting back increasingly difficult waves of enemies. So it's going to be something like go here and power up the generator, restoring power to the furnace, and then make your way down to the furnace, collect some fuel and toss it in, triggering an explosion, and then get out before the whole building collapses, or something along those lines. So there are different playable levels, each with their own set of objectives, and you're just trying to complete those while also attempting to survive. There are different difficulty tiers you can work through, ramping up the challenge and rewards as you climb. And probably one of my favorite things about the game are its classes, each with not only a unique look, but their own functionality. So there's one who shoots water to put out fires, there's another who's like a mechanic that can repair mechanical things, and one that uses electricity to jumpstart electronics. These classes can also have interactions with each other, so the water guy could like hose down a group of enemies, and then the electric guy can zap them, which kind of forms a chain lightning explosion. And I know all of this because I've played this game. A couple weeks ago, I got invited to a hands-on event. I played for a couple of hours. Now, I never ended up making a video, but I thought it was decent. I think probably my biggest gripe was the performance. It ran rather poorly for me, to be honest. Could be the optimization, could be my settings, or just my PC, although generally games run well on my PC to the point where I typically don't notice games that have performance issues until it gets out to the wider public. So I don't know, didn't run very well, but I hope that gets ironed out pre-release because I thought the premise of this game was interesting. And I think another thing that's definitely worth noting is the scope of this game is going to be relatively small. The developer has gone out of their way on numerous occasions, even reiterating this in the preview event that I was at, to say that this is not an ongoing live service game that has years and years of content planned for it, and we should be approaching it as more of a finite experience to be enjoyed and then probably to be moved on from when you finish. There were some progression stuff from what I saw, as you can power up your characters, leveling up tiers and getting enhancements to your different abilities, but don't expect this to be a game that you play nonstop for the next 5 years straight, which is not a problem. Enough of those games exist already. We don't really need more of them. And to that end, it's also a one-time box price, no daily check-ins, no battle passes or other FOMO elements, which is a win in my opinion. FBC Firebreak will be launching on June 17th, coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Death Stranding 2 marks the return of Kojima's star-studded production and new IP, featuring the previous title's central characters, along with an ensemble of new ones, including probably many actors that you might know from film or TV. Kojima has finally found a way to marry his love of Hollywood with gaming in this latest franchise, so congratulations to him. He's taking the things he adores and putting them together. Now, earlier this year, they had a big reveal of the game, sharing some details and showcasing some of what it has to offer. The sequel is set 11 months after the birth of the UCA. The game looks to continue and expand upon that narrative. Similar to the first game, it is an open-world action-adventure title played in the third person, with a lot of the mechanics expanded upon. The gameplay centers once again around the player delivering cargo. You'll have to overcome enemies, both human and otherworldly, exploring the post-apocalyptic world by foot and vehicle, while piecing together a complex sci-fi narrative. They also say there is no requirement to have played the first game in order to enjoy the sequel. Now, not too long ago, SkillUp had an exclusive early look at the game, playing for over 30 hours, and had a lot to share. Here are some keynotes from his video. He said that this is very much a sequel to the first game in every way. It is still a packaged transport simulator, but with every system expanded upon. Combat received the biggest overhaul. It's not particularly challenging, but there were a lot more options now. Kojima had said that everyone kept asking him to make a Metal Gear game, so he wanted to at least give people more options than what was in the first Death Stranding. Got some really cool oversized bosses with interesting mechanics. The world is set in Australia, but with some creative liberties taken. The graphics are better, but not by a lot. Felt like they got all they could in the graphical department out of the first game, and decided this time to focus on no loading screens and other performance optimizations. And finally, SkillUp didn't spoil anything specific, but noted that the game included one of the best sequences he's ever seen in a video game, if not the best. I mean, it looks pretty solid, and it seems like it's the first game, but more and even better. Death Stranding 2 On the Beach is set to release for PlayStation 5 on June 26. Oh, also, I wanted to mention this here, even though as of now it doesn't have a firm release date beyond Q2 of 2025, but holy crap, I am very interested in this game. It's called Duel Corp. This is a Souls-inspired action RPG with a very unique look, interesting premise, and really seems like something that I'm going to enjoy. So some noteworthy features include this challenging directional combat where you have to manually position and aim both your attacks and defenses. It's got this unrestricted class system that lets you make your own unique blend, choosing from a wide variety of weapons, armor, and abilities and talents to make your own playstyle. And this lets you do things like make a stealthy rogue who wields a great axe and cast fireballs. The world is said to have a quote MMO feel to it, with zones that are varied, interconnected, and procedurally generated while being full of secrets, unique items, and challenges. They've also got social hubs with this thing called the Hideout, and the multiplayer includes 2-player co-op co-op quest and competitive PvP to engage with. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something about this looks very appealing to me. Can't wait to check it out myself. When I asked on the official Discord about when the game will be releasing, they said sometime in the second or maybe third quarter, but the response I got was soon TM. So we will see, hoping it's sooner than later, because yeah, I really want to play this. All right, so those are the main games I'm most interested in this month, but we got quite a few honorable mentions. MindsEye is a linear third-person action-adventure game set in this near-future fictional desert city of Red Rock, where robots carry out the manual tasks and an algorithm connects all-seeing devices to make it the, quote, safest city in the world. That is, of course, until things inevitably go south. You play as a character named Jacob, fighting to uncover the truth about what happened. Now, beyond that blurb description, what's really interesting here is this game is also directly connected to the game creation system called Everywhere, which is this kind of MMO with user-created environments. And apparently, players are going to be able to add user-generated content to the world of MindsEye using Everywhere's creation tools. The associate game director, Adam Whitting, formerly of Rockstar, compared the game to something like custom Minecraft servers, saying that assets from MindsEye can also be used in other aspects of the game Everywhere and vice versa. So the game was basically created as a proof of concept for Everywhere, where that they're referring to this as as this game creation tool. It was envisioned as a premium experience set entirely within the free-to-play Everywhere platform. Back in 2023, they revealed that this will be an episodic game with each episode of MindsEye set in different time periods and part of the same universe, though the episodes will be connected by this overarching narrative. That is, of course, if the game is even remotely successful, which we'll see. Early impressions have not been great. There's been a lot of negative discussion about this game online. At the very least, people seem mixed and rather confused. And I'll say myself, like looking at the recent gameplay trailer that came out, it almost looks like a fake video game. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but something definitely feels off. I don't know, but something seems really weird about this game. We're gonna learn really soon though, because MindsEye is set to release on June 10th, coming to PC. And we'll find out. I also wanted to mention the fact that the much beloved story-driven action-adventure game Stellar Blade will be making its way onto PC this month. Originally launching as a PS5 exclusive, the game got quite a lot of attention and praise. Beyond it, this being the same game, the PC version also looks to include ultra-wide monitor support, PC-optimized graphics with DLSS, DLAA, and reflex support, unlocked frame rates, thank God. There's a texture pack which supports up to 4K options, along with controller and keyboard support. People really like this game. It performed quite well on PS5. I suspect it will also do well here on the PC. Stellar Blade will be coming to Steam on June 11th. Broken Arrow is a large-scale real-time modern warfare tactics game. Your mission is simple: defeat the opposition. How you go about that is entirely up to you. There are going to be many ways to approach any situation. You can deploy to the battlefield via land, sea, and air. You can use paratroopers and helicopters to rapidly seize key locations, reinforce with heavy tanks, and break enemy counterattacks with artillery and tactical strikes. You can infiltrate special forces behind enemy lines to disrupt logistics and provide laser designation for your planes, using the terrain to your advantage to ambush, outflank, and outsmart your enemy. Land with amphibious troops in large industrial harbors, airdrop troops and vehicles to seize airports and air bases, fight in the middle of a large refinery or in the entire cities filled with apartment blocks, malls, and high-rises. Some key features include over 300 units which can all be customized in multiple ways, resulting in more than 1,500 combinations. The base game features both the American and Russian factions, each containing 5 sub-factions. The scenario editor that they use to create the missions in the campaign is also going to be available to the community to make their own scenarios and share them on Steam Workshop. This seems pretty neat if you're into real-time modern warfare tactics games. Broken Arrow will be coming to PC on June 19th. And before we wrap things up, there are a few beta tests I would like you to know about. First up, Fellowship has another public playtest planned soon. This is the game that has you picking a class, forming a group, and then running dungeons 24/7, basically modeled after the dungeon farming of MMORPGs, but focused entirely on that core loop. According to a post on their Discord, the next playtest should be going live any day now, although as of recording this video, it's not at the moment. Now, even though I couldn't really find the hook to keep me playing and engaged the last time I tried it, I'm still very much so hopeful with this one, as there is a foundation there that I think could be quite fun. I don't know where it's all gonna land, but I am definitely 100% still interested in giving it another go. Vindictus Defying Fate is the reboot of the classic action combat MMO Vindictus. They've got a playtest for their upcoming game planned for this month. It's actually gonna be running from June 8th to the 16th over on Steam, and some features of this test include new playable characters, the companion NPC system, a new village hub with story content and customization, and new multiplayer content including boss raids. You can join by wishlisting over on Steam, on the Steam page to request access. I don't know, it's another upcoming MMO, so I'm definitely going to give this a shot. Speaking of which, there's the upcoming MMO Chrono Odyssey that has a playtest planned for sometime this month. No exact date has been announced at the moment, but I'm definitely going to be jumping in to try this one. As covered in a recent video on the channel, this really does seem like one of the more promising MMOs that are set to release this year in 2025. I'm just hopeful that Kakao Games monetization isn't too intrusive this time around. Things will surely be different with this one, right? Kakao Games has had crazy pay to win in every other MMO that they've published, but maybe this one won't, right? All right, closed beta scheduled for sometime this month. Again, they haven't set a date as I record this video. And then lastly, of course, I can't neglect to mention that the Switch 2 launches this month if you happen to get your hands on it. But congratulations. I don't know. I just haven't really been into console gaming very much in a very long time, basically since I was a kid. In fact, I think as soon as I hit college, I've just been almost exclusively PC gaming with but a rare few console exclusive things. But yeah, the Switch 2 is coming out. I know a lot of people are excited, so I couldn't not mention it. As for my plans or what I will personally be playing this month, well, seems like I'm definitely going to be busy, which is nice considering May was a bit on the quiet side. But there's Dune Awakening, which is definitely going to take up multiple weeks of the month for me, plus Chrono Odyssey. I want to check out the beta, and if Duel Corp comes out, I will definitely jump in and play that. Those are the games I expect to spend the most time with. I would also like to set aside time to check out The Altars, Vindictus, FBC Firebreak, and I do want to jump back into Fellowship. And then if there's any more time in the month, which I'm not sure, but if there is, I'll check out a few of the other games we covered here. But with that, we will wrap up this month's list. Thank you as always. Also, let me know if there's anything that I missed that you're really excited about in the comment section below. Always happy to hear about games that aren't on my radar, and sometimes they end up being really pleasant surprises. So we'll see. But that's it for this month. Thank you as always. Hope you enjoyed the vid. I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.